Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. So I've been playing around with granulating watercolors for a couple days now, and I thought while I had it all set up I would record a session. And if that sounds like something that would be fun, please stick around, and there will be a longer version of this available on my Patreon with uncut with all the warts and frogs or whatever it is. But today here I'm going to just have a go at it. So it's all going to be very loose and very whatever happens, happens kind of thing. So I'm going to tape my paper down. I just want to catch the edge just a little bit. Oh, this is not quite long enough, I don't think. Let me see. Maybe. I'm using Fluid 100, I think it is. It's 300-pound watercolor paper, cold pressed. What's it called? Yeah, Fluid 100. And I've had this for a long time, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to play with this. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple days. It's relatively inexpensive compared to most 300-pound watercolor papers. That's why I bought it in the first place. I have no idea what it is right now. I mean, I literally have had it for 4 years. And it's one of those things, you think, oh, I'll wait till I'm good, and I'll wait till I can know that whatever I do on it will be worthy. And then when you finally go to use it, the sizing will be messed up or something. Or you'll never think yourself worthy and you'll never use it. And I did not want to be in that position. So, and I needed some nice heavy paper for this project. So I thought this is the perfect place to use it. See, I didn't quite make it over there. That's what I was afraid of. Just add a little piece and hope it doesn't drip into that, because this is a very drippy kind of process. You can see I've kind of made a bit of a mess in my palettes, my table. It's all just kind of a big old mess right now. And I'm not sure how much of it is fresh at all. But let me show you the two that I did already. I did this one with Rose of Ultramarine was one of the main colors. And I think that was Sleeping Beauty Turquoise and Payne's Gray and Zoisite. Zoisite Genuine. And then this one is with Ocean Gray, that's a schminky color, Red Fuchsite, Shadow Violet, Hematite, I think, a little bit of Hematite. I think that's it. That's in this one. So this is the kind of thing I'm going to do. I think I'm going to start with some Desert Yellow, which I have over here. Fuchsite has a little bit of a sparkle in it, which is normally not my cup of tea, but it looks really cool in this because it's a mineral. It's one of Daniel Smith's Primatex. Get my dagger striper. Hoping to paint a loose, expressive painting. And I find that the brushes that give you the least amount of control give you the most expressive painting. I'm going to do a lot of spritzing too, so let me tip this. Right now. A little zoisite. We'll see. Let's go this way. I think this is violet, a violet schminky color, tundra violet. That's what it is. This is a Sterling Edwards blending and glazing brush. It's very stiff bristles, not bristles. I'm going to put some salt on it. I think I have to wait a little bit. I think it's a little, see how wet it is? See how, can you see how glossy it is? Like up here, it's got a nice sheen, and that would be great for salt. But this part right here is just too wet, and I won't get the response I want. All right, where are we on our dampness? See now, can you see that? It's got a sheen, but it's not sopping. It's a little bit wet right in there. We're going to give her a go and hope that I didn't wait too long. Because you never know. I swear. It's just a bit of a trick trying to make salt do its thing at the right time. I'm trying to explain exactly what that right time is. All right, we're going to let that do its thing and hope some of it works. Then the other tricky thing, if you're trying to do it, sorry if some of that was out of the bottom, it's hard to tell, is scraping with a credit card or a knife or a corner of something to make like lines. I'm just going to test it over here. Yeah, see, it's making dark lines, which I don't mind a few dark lines, but it seems that it's about the same time that the salt will work. Is about the same time that the scraping will work. I want some white. There we go. I'm never sure if any of it's going to work until it works or it doesn't. Trying to get some higher areas, some more interesting height and variances in the background here. But I don't want to add a bunch of water because I'm trying to make that salt do its thing. The other thing it takes for the salt to do its thing is patience, because it just moves at its own speed. It's just pushing the pigment. I don't want to cover the interesting stuff going on there. I'm going to just pick up a little bit of that because I want to drop some water. I can't drop water and have it do anything if it's really wet already. All that waiting on the salt, and I don't know if I've gone too far before I put it down. Anywhere I put it, though, we have to leave alone. I think what I'm going to do is stop recording right now and let it just sit, walk away, and come back in like 15, 20 minutes and see what the salt has done, or if the salt has done anything. So I will be right back to you, but it'll be a few minutes for me. So I went downstairs and did some dishes, got some dinner started, came up here, and it was still wet. That was after about a half an hour. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go downstairs, make dinner. So I made dinner, we ate dinner, we watched Jeopardy, I did the dishes. Then I came up 2.5 hours after when I left. And guess what? It's dry. So I'm going to get the salt off of it. What I figured out was, I think it's because it's 300-pound watercolor paper. And I think the 300-pound, it just holds the moisture, the water, and dries really slowly. Because holy cow, that took a long time. But it did do its stuff. So hang on a minute and we'll look. Let me get rid of the salt. Okay, now, can you see all the little bits where the salt was? The only place it didn't do a whole lot was down here. But it did lovely things up here. A little bit here. So all in all, it worked really nicely. So now what I'd like to do is a little bit of finicky brushwork, shall we say. So I want this little bitty brush from Lebanson brushes that I really like. I have 2 Lebanson brushes, this one and this one. I really, really like this little bitty one. I think it's elk. It's all ethically sourced. It is a wonderful, wonderful brush, though. And again, like I said at the beginning, it makes marks that are expressive and out of control a little bit, which is what's so cool about it. I want to get some contrast. Kind of enjoyed painting on this 300-pound paper. It's just something I've really not done. Indigo. I'm like, what is this color? I have so many on my palette from all the different iterations of these kind of paintings I've been doing that I cannot remember what that one was, but it was very dark. Tundra Violet is just not as dark as I would like it to be. So I'm going to just play with a little indigo in here too. Oh, not indigo. It was Payne's Gray. I think that might be all I'm going to do to this one. I like the way that salt works so well. And I think I am just going to let that speak for me. Keeps fading. So if you would like to see the full version of this, then you can catch it on my Patreon page that I'm setting up new this month. And there's only one tier because I'm rolling it out slow, but this will be a real-time, full, unedited, 99% unedited video. So, and I hope to do those over there a lot, because I think that's kind of fun, because I'm not as constrained by a set amount of time I'm trying to hit. And that way you can really see what I'm doing and get a little more insight into why I do what I do and all that. Anyway, so if you are watching this on Patreon, thank you so very much. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so very much. I appreciate you all. And I think I'm going to sign this. Well, that's where it is, for better or worse. Okay, time to peel the tape. Yay! Now, I'm just going to take these two little guys off. And we'll see how it goes if I need to run the hairdryer on it to warm it up. Because sometimes that really helps, because I do not want it to rip. I'm going to pop in here one I did last year that was very similar to these. And I actually won an award at a local show for it. And I was inspired by myself to see what else I could do. So the wastebasket is literally next to me, and I dropped it and it bounced out of the wastebasket and over onto the floor. It's like, just another day in my normal existence. The other ones I've done, I kind of planned out what colors went with what colors and all that. And this one, I was just kind of using a lot of palette mud from the previous ones I did. But I like it, I think. There we go. Ah, got it in. So let's get this out of here. There we go. It's kind of different, kind of cool. I think it needed the contrast. Can you see? Let's kind of go around, so hopefully you can see what it looks like. So thank you so much for watching and being here. I really appreciate it. And if you would like to, please check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork along with cute little monsters and other fun stuff for sale.